Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. I'm your host Hayat. Today we're diving into a mini slate of 4 NBA matchups on March 2nd, but we're going to focus on the spots that really stand out. I've got 2 props and 2 team matchups that I'm breaking down in full detail. The props I'm leaning on today are Alperen Sengun rebounds. This one just screams opportunity, matchup, and roll meeting up perfectly, and Christian Braun points. Utah gives up points to shooting guards like no one else, and Braun's hot, healthy, and ready. Then, we're switching gears to the team side, walking through Milwaukee Bucks versus Boston Celtics and Golden State Warriors versus Los Angeles Clippers. We're going to talk spreads, totals, injuries, travel, momentum, all the angles you need to see the paths these games could realistically take. Alright, let's jump in and start connecting the dots. Alright, let's get into this. First, I have a prop for you guys. Alperen Sengun over 9.5 rebounds is the lean. Let me walk through why I keep landing there, because the more I think about it, the more it connects. If this matchup plays out like the data suggests, Washington is just a dream spot for centers. And I know, people are going to freak out about the recent graph, they're going to look at the tough stretches, but when I zoom out and think through the actual matchups he's had, Knicks, very tough matchup, Orlando, tough, Miami, tough, those teams do not give up a lot of rebounds. So if the recent games came against Knicks, Orlando, Miami, and those teams don't give up a lot of rebounds, then what are we really judging here? Are we judging form, or are we judging context? Because when he played Sacramento, and Sacramento gives up a ton of rebounds and is bad at defending centers, he had 13 rebounds. That's the key number, 13 rebounds. So when the matchup flips from Knicks, Orlando, Miami to Sacramento, we immediately see 13 rebounds. That's not random. That's role meeting matchup. Now let's talk Washington, because this is where it really gets loud in my head. Washington gives up the most rebounds in the league this year to centers. Not top 5, not top 3. The most. Over 16 rebounds per game to centers. Over 16. And it's not even close. By a lot. So if a team is giving up over 16 rebounds per game to centers, and our line is 9.5, I immediately start thinking, okay, what connects here? Opportunity connects. He already played them earlier this year. That game, 13 rebounds. And here's the part people will bring up, it was a blowout. He only played 27 minutes. And in 27 minutes, he still had 13 rebounds. So if 27 minutes equals 13 rebounds against a team giving up over 16 rebounds per game to centers, how do I not see a path to over 9.5? And then I hear the blowout fear. This game is going to be a blowout. Okay, maybe. But we've seen multiple 30-plus point blowouts and he's still playing 30-plus minutes. So even in 30-plus point blowouts, he's still on the floor 30-plus minutes. That matters. That completely kills the "he won't play" narrative. And even the first Washington game, blowout, 27 minutes, 13 rebounds. So if this becomes another blowout, the precedent already says 27 minutes can still get us 13 rebounds. Then I zoom into Washington's recent trend. Last week they played multiple centers worse at rebounding than Sun. Those guys played 23 minutes, 25 minutes, and they're still getting 10 rebounds per game. So centers playing 23 minutes, 25 minutes are getting 10 rebounds per game. And Washington is giving up 10 rebounds per game to the starting center almost as a guarantee at this point. That phrase sticks with me, almost a guarantee at this point. I stared at this for 1.5 hours. I went back and forth between full game over 9.5 rebounds and first quarter rebounds over 2.5. Because if you're scared of a blowout, first quarter rebounds over 2.5 is clean. He could get 3 rebounds early and you're done. But when I connect Sacramento 13 rebounds, Washington 13 rebounds in 27 minutes, over 16 rebounds per game allowed to centers, 30-plus minutes even in 30-plus point blowouts, and recent centers playing 23 minutes and 25 minutes still getting 10 rebounds per game, the full game over 9.5 rebounds just feels right. So yeah, Alperen Sengun over 9.5 rebounds is the lean. Let's move to second game of slate. Milwaukee Bucks versus Boston Celtics. The lean here is Boston Celtics. Let me walk through why. If this matchup plays out like recent form suggests, I don't know how I get to the Milwaukee Bucks right now. Milwaukee Bucks are 26-33 on the year and 27-32 against the number this season. They just lost to the Chicago Bulls 120-97. That's a 23-point loss. And it wasn't just a random bad night, there was a 270 run from the Bulls in that game. That's the kind of run that breaks you. And this is the second half of a back-to-back for Milwaukee Bucks, traveling from Chicago. Now zoom out further. They lost to New York by 29. They lost to Toronto out of the All-Star break by 28. So that's 23, 29, 28 in recent losses. That's not competitive. Yes, they have wins at home over Cleveland and Miami, but the bigger trend is they're missing Giannis. And when they're missing Giannis, we've seen far more often than not that this team struggles. That's not narrative, that's pattern. Now look at Boston Celtics. They're 39-20 on the year, 34-24-1 against the number. They just drilled Brooklyn 148-11 in their last matchup. They've won 5 of their last 6 games, 8 of their last 10. That's rolling. That's rhythm. They are on the first half of a back-to-back taking on the Philadelphia 76ers on Sunday night, and they're traveling from Boston to Milwaukee. So yes, both teams have a back-to-back. Both teams are traveling. But the difference is form and ceiling. Now the injury report matters. Jaylen Brown held out, no Jaylen Brown listed. Jason Tatum still working his way back from injury, could be back sooner rather than later. Baylor Arthur Shireman questionable, Max Shulga questionable, Amari Williams questionable. So we're navigating some uncertainty. But what connects for me is even with some pieces potentially rotating in and out, Boston Celtics have been laying points on the road historically as a decent bet. That's a betting angle that I can't ignore. If this matchup plays out like 39-20 vs 26-33, like 34-24-1 against the number vs 27-32 against the number, like 148-11-11 momentum vs 120-97 collapse with a 270 run from the Bulls, then the path is clear. One path I see here is Boston Celtics winning by double digits. That's the margin that makes sense to me. Because when you're stacking 23, 29, 28-point losses for Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis, and you're stacking 5 of last 6 and 8 of last 10 for Boston Celtics, it feels like two teams on different levels. So yeah, when I put it all together, 26-33, 27-32 against the number, 120-97, 23, 29, 28, missing Giannis, second half of a back-to-back traveling from Chicago, versus 39-20, 34-24-1 against the number, 148-11-11, 5 of last 6, 8 of last 10, first half of a back-to-back traveling from Boston to Milwaukee. And historically decent when laying points on the road, the lean sticks at Boston Celtics. Quick pause, if you've already gotten even one lean you like so far, smash that like button. Let's be real, hitting 100 likes on this video. Not a tough target, guys, it just takes a second and it means the world to the channel. And while you're at it, hit subscribe so you don't miss the full slate breakdowns and these deep dives coming every day. Hey guys, now let's flip to the second prop of this video. Christian Braun over 12.5 points is the lean. And this one feels different, a little bit sketchier, but I still see the path. If this matchup plays out like Utah's defensive profile says it will, shooting guards eat. Utah gives up the most points in the league to shooting guards. Over 26 points per game to shooting guards. Worst by far. And it's been happening all season. Not just a week. Not just a stretch. All season. And honestly, probably 3 years now Utah has been bad at defending shooting guards. So we're not talking about a small sample. This is structural. Now layer in Braun's recent performance. He's gone over in 3 of last 5 games. That's real. He just had 15 against Minnesota. He just had 23 against OKC. So we have 15, we have 23, and the line is 12.5. That's the number. 12.5. If he's at 100%, which it seems like he is now, after being out a good amount this season but back fully healthy for a few weeks, then 12.5 feels light. What connects for me is role plus health plus matchup. He's been out a good amount this season, but now he's back, fully healthy for a few weeks, believed to be 100%. If he's 100% and he's facing a defense giving up over 26 points per game to shooting guards, worst by far, all season, and historically bad for probably 3 years now, then why is this 12.5? And then the career trend, last 4 games against Utah, over this line in 4 straight games. 4 straight games. He kills Utah every time he plays them. That's not me hyping it. That's 4 straight games over this line. So if this matchup plays out like it has in the last 4 career meetings, and like Utah's season-long defensive numbers suggest, then 12.5 feels like something he clears. Now, I'll be honest, this one is a little bit sketchier. He can be inconsistent. That's real. That's the risk note. If you want to play it safer, Goblin 9.5 is there. 9.5 Goblin. I don't hate that at all. Especially on a small slate. But if I'm trusting the over 26 points per game allowed to shooting guards, 3 of last 5 overs, 15 versus Minnesota, 23 versus OKC, 4 straight games over this line against Utah, and him being 100% after a few weeks back fully healthy, the path to over 12.5 points is very clear. So yeah, when I connect all of it, even with the inconsistency risk, Christian Braun over 12.5 points is the lean. Last game of this video and slate Golden State Warriors vs Los Angeles Clippers, the lean here is Warriors. Let me walk through why. If this matchup plays out like the situational angles are pointing, I think Golden State Warriors at home is the side I want to be on, even with all the chaos. Golden State Warriors are 31-29 on the year and 26-33-1 against the number this season, so it's not like they've been some dominant against the number machine, but context matters. They just fell short against the Lakers 129,101 in their last game, and yeah, 129,101 doesn't look pretty, but I zoom out and I see they beat Denver, they blew out Memphis, they fell short against New Orleans and the Lakers, and those games are bound to happen. So I'm not panicking over one 129,101 result when I've seen signs of life. Now flip to the Los Angeles Clippers. They're still fighting for the final playoff spot, fighting for the spot to the play-in tournament, and time is running out. They came out of the All-Star break with a 1-point win over Denver, which looks nice on paper, but since then they've lost to the Lakers, the Magic, and the Timberwolves. That's not stability. And they're on no rest here, first half of a back-to-back, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans on Sunday night. They're a 50-50 team against the spread on no rest this season. 50-50. That's not an edge. That's coin flip territory. And then I look at the injury situation. Golden State Warriors are still missing Steph Curry, still missing Seth Curry, Jimmy Butler obviously out, Chris Porzingis still out, Gary Payton II listed as questionable. That's a long list. Meanwhile the Clippers are described as the slightly more healthier team, with Kawhi in the lineup. So on paper you could argue the Clippers are healthier. But here's what connects for me, even without Steph Curry, even without Seth Curry, even with Jimmy Butler out and Chris Porzingis out and Gary Payton II questionable. Golden State Warriors are still laying points at home. That tells me something. Markets don't just hand out home chalk for fun. If this game falls around 3 or 4, I wouldn't be shocked. I could honestly see it landing right around the number whether it's 3 or 4. But one path I see here is Golden State Warriors winning by 5 points. That's the number that sticks in my head, 5 points. I think this turns into something like 124,119 or maybe 114,109. Those are the score ranges I keep circling. And if it's 124,119 or 114,109, that's right in that 5-point range. Add in the fact that the Clippers are still trying to figure themselves out post-James Harden trade, good results, bad results, still inconsistent. And now you're layering in no rest and a 50-50 team against the spread on no rest this season, I just lean stability at home. So yeah, when I stack 31-29, 26-33-1 against the number, 129,101 last game, the Clippers 1-point win over Denver but losses to Lakers, Magic, Timberwolves, the no-rest angle, the 50-50 against the spread on no rest. And the fact Golden State Warriors are still laying points at home, the lean sticks at Warriors. Alright, that wraps up all 4 NBA matchups on March 2nd. Remember the target of 100 like. As always, this is just my analysis and opinion, Nothing guaranteed. Just me walking through how these games could play out if the matchups, injuries, and situational angles unfold the way the numbers suggest. I want to hear how you're seeing these spots, so drop AZ in the comments and tell me which game jumped out to you, or if you're seeing a different path. More deep dives like this are coming soon, same raw, messy, thinking out loud style, you know how we do it here.